With America being such an important market for any motorcycle manufacturer, you would think that they would be all falling over each other to send each and every motorcycle they make there. It appears not, however. For whatever reason, there are many models that have never been and never will be officially imported to the US. Given the specifications of some of the models, not to mention the customizing possibilities, means the Northern Hemisphere's biggest motorcycle market is missing out on some great motorcycles. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the top 10 great bikes that never made it to America. Before we begin, make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome auto guides, and make sure you hit the notification bell so that you know when we publish a new video. So now let's cut to the chase. At 10, Bimota BB3. Bimota is a specialist company that builds its own sports bike frames for production engines. The letters in the name tell you which engine has been used. YB for Yamaha, HB for Honda, DB for Ducati, and BB for BMW, and so on. In the 1970s, motorcycle chassis design had stagnated, and Bimota carved a niche for itself, building infinitely better frames in which to fit production engines. The BB3 used the engine from the BMW S1000RR as a stressed member of the chassis. Carbon fibre was used extensively, and all-in weight was a mere 390 pounds. Designed to be as close to a world superbike racing's motorcycle as possible, this road-legal rocket was only available in Europe and Japan. At 9, Honda VFR1200X Crosstourer. Before Honda gave us the Africa Twin 1100 adventure bike, it took the V4 engine from the VFR 1200 and put it in an adventure touring chassis, creating the VFR 1200X Crosstourer. The 1237cc V4 engine utilized a single camshaft per cylinder bank with variable valve timing to simplify and add lightness. 130 horsepower and 93 foot-pounds of torque was available alongside typical Honda reliability, and it offered excellent road manners in a large, comfortable and extremely capable chassis that made it one of the best long-distance tourers of its time. Not that the Americans would know, however. At 8, Yamaha XJ1300. The last of the old-school Japanese dinosaurs. Huge lump of an engine in a tubular steel frame with twin shocks at the back and a style that hasn't changed one bit from the early 1970s. Despite the bulky appearance, weight was only 525 pounds, and the 1247cc inline four-cylinder engine was unbelievably smooth, producing a modest 106 horsepower, but also 80 foot-pounds of torque for strong but not excessive performance. It's the ultimate universal Japanese motorcycle. Simple, air-cooled engine and 5-speed gearbox, for goodness sake. Effortless performance and secure handling. You would have thought it would be a shoo-in for US distribution, but apparently not. At 7, Honda CB400 Super 4. In the 1980s and 90s, the Japanese manufacturers made a mouth-watering line of sub-400cc motorcycles for the home market to take advantage of vehicle taxation laws. The best thing was that many of them had screaming four-cylinder engines, and the CB400 Super 4 was one of them. With a 12,500 RPM redline, the engine of the CB400 produced 55 horsepower and 29 foot-pounds of torque in a super lightweight package. Notably, this was the first Honda motorcycle engine to have the VTEC variable valve equipment installed that would close off 2 of the 4 valves per cylinder below 7,000 RPM to keep things civilized, but switched camshafts to enable 4-valve operation and unleash the beast within. You have to hear it to believe it, but sadly, not in the US. At 6, Kawasaki ZX-25R. If the Honda CB400 sounds like overkill, that's nothing compared to the Kawasaki ZX-25R. Appearing in 2020 and destined solely for the Asian market, that's a 249cc inline 4-cylinder engine in there, revving to 18,000 RPM with 51 horsepower and 22 foot-pounds of torque, pushing along 401 pounds wet through. The performance is out of all proportion to the size of the engine. Disc brakes all round with ABS, shower suspension, up and down quick shifter, traction control, and there's even a data logger that you can connect to via a phone app. It's as close to a Supersport 300 race bike for the road as you're ever likely to get, if you live in Asia, that is. At 5, Honda X-ADV. An intriguing answer to a question that no one asked. Can a twist-and-go maxi scooter be configured to go off-road? There's no doubt that the adventure bike is the big-ticket item right now for all the manufacturers, but this has led to some of the more bizarre creations, and the Honda X-ADV has to be one of them. Basically, it's a Honda Integra Maxi scooter, complete with 745cc parallel twin engine, 53 horsepower, DCT automatic gearbox, and under-seat storage with dual-purpose tyres and a little more ground clearance. Because of the configuration, the weight is worn low, unlike many adventure bikes, which makes sense for an off-road motorcycle. The Japanese and Europeans love it, apparently. At 4, CCM Foggy FT Spitfire. CCM is a small manufacturer in the north of England, producing some super minimalistic, funky-looking models with excellent dynamics and huge grin factor. Carl Fogarty, nicknamed Foggy, is a British institution after winning 4 World Superbike titles in the 1990s, so putting his name to the Spitfire Limited Edition was a great marketing move. Like every other model in the CCM lineup, each bike is built in extremely limited number, entirely by hand, is outfitted with top-shelf components, and is powered by a 62 horsepower, 600cc fuel-injected, liquid-cooled single that was developed by BMW back when it owned Husqvarna. What makes the Foggy unique is its headlight cowl, tail section and front fender, bronze Marzocchi forks, and full bronze chrome powder-coated, hand TIG-welded frame. The Stealth Foggy also gets Brembo radial mount quad-piston calipers, black 19-inch machined wheels and carbon fibre rear fender, and a black quilted Alcantara seat with bronze accent stitching. Not that you'd know it in the US. At 3, Aprilia SRV850. We've seen one maxi scooter in the Honda X-ADV, but what about the most ridiculously insane maxi scooter? That would be the Aprilia SRV850, born out of the equally mad Gilera GP800. It is excess all areas with an 839cc V-twin engine producing 76 horsepower and 56 foot-pounds of torque, giving ridiculous performance at the merest twist of the right twist grip, with no gears to worry about. Style-wise, it borrows a lot from the RSV4 superbike, including the ability to lay a streak of melted rubber on the tarmac exiting slow corners. Heading to the shops, taking the long way there has never been so exciting, in Europe at least. At 2 now, it's Yamaha SR400. The motorcycle that might have just single-handedly been responsible for the popularity of the custom cafe racer scene around the world, given that the vast majority of home builds are based on the Yamaha SR400. Underneath the uninspiring bodywork is a steel tube frame and an air-cooled 400cc single-cylinder engine, both of which have the ability to be dressed up in so many different ways, from cafe racer to bobber to chopper to flat track, hell, anything you pretty much want to make it. It's endlessly malleable and a godsend to custom builders, which must be making the Americans tear their hair out. And finally, at number 1, Kawasaki W250 Estrella. Kawasaki actually has a couple of possible entries into this list: the parallel twin-engined Triumph Bonneville competitor, the W800, and this lovely little 250cc version, the W250 Estrella, which almost out-triumphs Triumph in the retro stakes. Like the Yamaha SR400, the W250 Estrella has been the basis for thousands of custom builds, partly because it already looks so right, and partly because it's so simple and easy to work on, helped by the fact that there is a healthy aftermarket parts and accessories availability. 17 horsepower, well, it isn't much, but there are even big bore kits to improve that, while the chassis and brakes are more than up to handling a bit more power. And there you have the top 10 great bikes that never made it to America. Did you like what you saw? Let us know in the comments down below. Share this video with your friends and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more fantastic auto guides. See you next time.